So in this video I'm going to show you how to solve this simple word problem by following the 6-step problem solving approach. To remind you, the first step is always to read the problem as many times as it takes for you to understand the problem. So don't even think about doing step 2 unless you understand the problem completely. Once you understand the problem, step 2 is to introduce the variables. So usually say let x be so and so. In step 3 we do the part where we translate English to math. So we go through the problem, reread it, and we try to introduce mathematical symbols instead of English phrases. The goal is to find a way to relate the unknown quantities and known quantities, and we want to find the relation in the form of the equation. So step 4 is to set up an equation. Step 5 is the simplest one. You just solve whatever you set up in step 4. And step 6 is to answer the question. Alright, so let's get started. First step is to read and understand. Let's see if we can understand this problem. So make sure you understand all the words and terms that are used in the problem. So here, for example, we're talking about rectangular garden. So do I know what rectangular garden looks like? Something like this. We know that every rectangle has the width and the length, so we can assume that this is length and this is width. You don't have to draw any of this on paper, but in your mind you should have a clear image of what rectangular garden with such length and width look like. And so one other part that has to be understood here is that what does it mean to enclose the garden? So when we're talking about enclosing the garden, it should be clear that we're talking about putting a fence around the perimeter. And yeah, that's it. It seems like the problem is pretty straightforward. So we did read it and we did understand it. So we're going to put those check marks in the check boxes, and let's continue. So what is unknown here? So the unknown are the dimensions. So let's introduce a variable, and let's say let x be. And here's a part where you have to be really careful what to call x. We have two choices: either call x to be your width or the length. However, remember that whatever you choose to be your x first, the second quantity has to be written in terms of x, because we haven't learned how to solve equations in two variables yet. And here you can kind of see that if we let x be the width of the rectangle, then, and here goes step 3, translation. So what does it mean to be 2 feet more than twice its width? Well, 2 feet more than twice its width literally means 2 more than twice its width, but we denoted width with variable x. So that sentence literally translates into the length being equal to plus 2x. We continue translating because the goal here now is to set up an equation. And to set up an equation, we have to relate the known quantities to unknown quantities. And that's when the understanding of what perimeter is comes handy. Perimeter is 2 times the width plus 2 times the length. But we already have symbols and expressions to denote width and length. So together with the fact that the perimeter is 22 feet, we conclude that the equation is 22 feet is equal to 2 times the width, but the width is denoted with the letter x, and 2 lengths, which is denoted with 2 plus 2x. A lot of 2's here, but that's the equation. So step 5 is to solve this equation. It's a very simple linear equation which we solve by isolating the variable x. First we're going to simplify the right hand side, meaning we're going to distribute 2 over this addition and then combine like terms. And after that we're going to isolate 6x by subtracting 4 from both sides and then dividing everything by 3. So we solved the equation, but remember, we still have to answer the question. And the question is about the dimensions of the rectangle. So, and dimensions consist of a pair of numbers, one for length and one for width. So remember that you don't answer the question by solving the equation. You still have to go that extra step and put all the numbers together in one complete sentence. So we have to find the length next. So if x is 3, 2 plus 2x is 8. And now we are ready to answer the question. So the dimensions of the garden are 3 feet. Never forget to put the units. By 8 feet. And this entire sentence is what the answer should look like.